when you get. No, I've never seen that. It works.
Hello, welcome. I'm on another one, and yes, it's dark, and you can see I've got my light on my head. We're out, and I'm definitely not in a normal location that I'm normally at. I am on a beach, which you probably gathered by the sound of the waves, and I've got a lighthouse going off over there. Look at that, how fantastic is that? So I've got this lovely lighthouse in front of me, which is the Mumbles Lighthouse, and I'm out with Nigel. I'm down in South Wales, and we're on Bracelet Beach, Nige. We're on the Bracelet Bay. So the plan is now, with it being dark, is to find a location to set the camera up, because I've never been here before. The sun's going to come up over that sort of direction. As you can see, there's still a bit of light starting up in the sky, and yeah, trying to find a location to set up the tripod in the relative dark when you've never been here before. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's see what we can do. Right, so I think I've found something. A little bit of a compromise. Originally I was going to sort of park myself on the beach just over that sort of side there, to use the rocks as a foreground interest. But there's another gentleman down here with a camera. What's your name, sir? Peter. Peter's down here with his camera as well, and he wanted to stand up on the rocks in front of basically where I was and set the camera up. So I've moved forward to have another look, and I've plummeted for this rock pool as a bit of foreground. It gives me the two options then. I've got the foreground interest with these rocks. I can step a couple of feet back. The tide is coming up next to me, but it's on a receding tide, so we should be all right. But then I can also shoot, and you know, without the rock pool, and just have the, you know, the Mumbles Lighthouse and the rock facing the cliffs and that as well. So that's my option. Camera out. Try not to get my boots wet, because I've only got one pair of boots with me this weekend. If I'd have known I was getting this close to the sea, sir, I'd have brought me wellies. Nigel didn't tell me we were getting this close. So the camera is set up. Initially I had it set at horizontal, so I had this little rock pool, and you can see it's a little bit lighter now. I had this little rock pool in the bottom of the image, and then the lighthouse was up in the top corner of the image. I wasn't quite sure of it. It wasn't quite working the way I wanted it to do. So I brought the camera down a little bit lower, thinking that I could compress that little bit of water in between, because I had quite a chunk of water. So by coming down lower, it sort of reduced the size of that water. But again, it wasn't working quite well. So then I thought, let's just try a vertical shot. Hopefully the tide's gone down a bit lower now, so I don't get wet from behind. There's a little tiny pool of water just here, and that's what I spotted, this little round pool of water. I thought, I wonder if I can actually get that in. So I flicked the camera around vertical, and now I've got this lovely little composition with the little water pool at the bottom, little tiny pod, and then I've got the longer one in the middle, and then I've got the lighthouse in the top. I know the lighthouse is quite small. It's not the main focus of the image. It's almost like the background of the image, but I quite like it. I've taken the shot now already before the sun actually comes up, because there's a little bit of colour in the sky. It's quite nice, and it should be able to reflect, that colour should be reflecting on the water. Camera settings wise, I'm on f11, and just going with whatever shutter speed it wants, ISO 160. So they're quite long shutter speeds. Bracketed the shot again to give me all the dynamic range, and I've also focused that. I focused on the foreground, I focused on the rock about 4 or 5 foot away from me, and then I focused on the lighthouse in the distance. So it should get all the information I want out of that one shot. So all now we're doing is just basically sitting here and waiting. We were just talking about different people in different compositions. The guy Peter's got his camera set up there. He's looking at just having the leading line, the classic leading line coming through the rocks and the lighthouse and water. So it's lots of negative space. but that's what he saw, the image he wants. Nigel's gone a bit further over there. It's Nigel Thomas, by the way, not Mr. Freestone. And he's using the rocks and the leading line as well, going around that way, and more probably the beach in the foreground. So we've all got something slightly different, and I quite like what I've got set up. I like the foreground interest, I like that little bit of difference that I've got with it. But just being down here by the sea, smelling the water, listening to the waves, is really, really good. I miss the sea. I used to live on the Isle of Wight, and I will be taking you to the Isle of Wight someday. But yeah, I do miss the sea. And Mrs. C's out with us. Look, she's there. She is out. She's with Nigel's wife, Cor. So yeah, just going to stand and wait now. I'm going to grab me coffee, have a mouthful of coffee, and wait for something to happen. If we do get that light come up and we get that little star burst, that'd be really good. But I'm just happy to be here, in all fairness. It's really nice. Right, well, we're still waiting. It's now a lot lighter, as you can tell. I haven't changed my composition. I'm being really, really good, really strong at staying at this composition, and I'm still here, and I've still got these 2 rock pools. The only thing is the tide is now starting to go out, so I'm losing that water. So I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to get the fantastic light. We've got a low bank of cloud just there. I think that's going to block the early light. So by the time it gets high enough, I think it's going to be too bright and pretty harsh, and there's not a lot in the sky. Even though there is still a star up there, there's not a lot in the sky to make it a class leading image, but it's still going to be a nice morning shot, and a nice memorable shot from being down here. I'm going to have another look round. I'm trying not to move my camera. I'm trying to keep my camera in the same place because I think that's where I want it to be. But with the tide changing, and going out, and it's opening up the foreground, and you're getting these lovely rocks down here, and of course wherever Mrs. C is, you know that there's normally a good shot. So I'm going to move the camera, I think, probably over here, and just take another shot while we're here, because if I'm not going to get the great light, I might as well get a couple of images just to record the place. And there's a nice bit of rock formation just there, starting to appear as the tide's getting lower and lower. So the only good thing is, standing here, we know the tide's going away from us, and we haven't got to worry about it coming and grabbing us, apart from the freak wave. But it's dead calm, there's no wind, it's just quite a nice, calm, gentle morning to start my week off, because we're going to be down here for a week. Well, I am. Denise has got to go back home Monday, I'll drop her off, and then I'm going to come back down. So we're spending the week in South Wales, so we'll be seeing a few videos in and around the South Wales coast, I would have thought. I think I might have to move the camera. Do I? Don't I? I'll give it 5 more minutes, and then I might move the camera over here just to try and get some of the water around these rocks. We've got colour in the sky. We've got a little bit of light on the clouds above the lighthouse, and I'm not sure if I've got it in my composition. Yes, I have, just about. I've changed my composition, I did move. I've come down here. I've got a lovely little shot set up now. I've got the polarizer on because it's just taking a little bit of the glare off, but I'm just lacking a little bit of water. If I do a bit more water just flowing around these rocks, that'll be a bit better, that one. It's a lovely diagonal line. Look at that for a rock line. Leading through the image, lighthouse is up on the top, and a little bit of sky, because there's not a lot of interest in the sky, there's just a little bit of colour on some of the clouds. So that's all I'm trying to get, those little bit of sky and those little bit of detail. Bracketing the shot to get all the detail and the information in. At the moment I'm focused on the foreground, I'm just waiting for it to hurry up before that sky changes colour, because it's only going to be seconds before that light completely disappears, and I'm itching to get my finger on it and change the focus point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to infinity focus so I can get those details. If not, I'm going to have to use the basic shot from the foreground interest, or the foreground focus, should I say. Come on, stop. Right, let's go straight up to the top, focus up there, hit the shutter button, so I can try and get some of that detail, because it's just there, there's a little bit of colour up in the top there. The lighthouse is quite small, but it's all about the foreground, the lines leading you in, and the nice smooth water movement. So I could just do a little bit of wash, just coming up high enough, just like that, just to get a bit of movement in that water. The camera, I'm going to show you 2 images. Only a base image. I'm not going to over process it. I'm going to show you a base image. The rock just there, I was down like this just now, and as I took the first image and I noticed it come up on the screen, I noticed it was touching the rock from where are we? It was just touching that rock there, and I didn't like it, so I had to move the camera up slightly to get that little bit of clearance just between the rock, and it makes all the difference to the photograph. It really does. Right, as soon as that's finished the bracket in, I'm going to take this. I'm itching again. I'm trying to touch the camera. Move it down and focus on the centre rocks. At f11 it should be just fine anyway. I don't even know why I'm bracketing. 9 times out of 10 when I do these focus bracket or focus stacking, I don't tend to use them. Only if I really needed it, then I'll go and find the photographs, each individual photograph, and I'll process it. But otherwise, I don't normally bother. Go on, it's taking its time, but the water's lovely and smooth, it really is quite nice. I've got a 6-stop on the front, which is why it's a longer exposures, and those colours on the clouds are really nice just to finish off the top. I reckon if I focus there, I reckon we'll get all the information I need anyway. And I'm going to just, do I go a little bit wider? Do I go a little bit wider? Just go a little bit wide, just try and pick them clouds up. Focus on the foreground, somewhere mid, about a third of the way in the image, which is roughly there. And then just let it do its thing. And that'll be it. There's a lovely cloud up there. There's a nice little patch of cloud up there, but that's not where we are. The only other option is to go really wide maybe and catch that as well. Maybe we will, because now we've got these rocks out here where Nigel is from over there. If we go really wide, I can sort of keep all that in. So maybe that's a good option. Maybe as a final shot. But that's really nice, I like that. Right, I'm set up for what I think is the final shot from this location. I've come back a bit further back now, and I'm using that coastline, using the water line leading me around. I've got these big clump of rocks in the foreground, which are now sticking out the water quite a lot, and the lighthouse is quite small. I've gone slightly wider just so I can get a little bit of, it's not so much colour, but the light's reflecting or shining on the sides of these little tiny clouds, so it's just giving me a bit of interest in the sky. I think it's quite nice. I've done a bracketed shot, so I've got all the information right the way through the image. And now what I'm trying to do, ignoring the sky, I'm trying to capture the water movement. So I've got the 3-stop on now, and I'm about a second to 0.16, 1.3, and it's varying depending on where the water comes in. And I'm just trying to catch the water receding out, so I'm getting lines leading out in the water. I haven't got my cable release on, I'm doing it with my finger, just trying to be gentle as I press the button. There's no mechanical movement in these as such, so it's not so bad. And that's all I'm trying to do, really, trying to get some water movement that I think would work best at the bottom of the image. And I think that's it, we're done in this location. So this might be quite a simple video for me, but we haven't finished yet, so don't go away just yet. I'm just talking to Nigel, and I just said to him, I said, look at these little rocks down there in the foreground, these little mountain peaks. If I can get the camera really down low, I wonder if I can just make one more photograph. I'll take one more photograph if I can keep the lighthouse in it. And Denise is like, whoa, stand fast, she's going for the biggie. Now, you've probably seen on a recent video that she stacks her filters. Look at that lot hanging off the front of her camera. There's more filters on there than there is camera lens. What are we on, a 10-minute? 8-minute exposure she's going for. 8 minutes! She's got more time on her hands than we know of. So I'm just going to have to wait for this shot, and by the time I get down there in 8 minutes, the tide's going to be miles away. Right, so after Denise finished doing her 8-minute exposure, the water's completely receded and gone away from these rocks. So I've come down here anyway just to have a look, just to see out of interest whether there was a photograph or not. I still think there is a photograph. It's not as good as having water around it, but I still think there's a photograph in the image. The lighthouse is up on the top, right up on the top of the image, above the top thirds. But I've got these rocks leading through, and you can see in the bottom there, there's 1, 2, 3, and as they lead through this bottom of the image there, it's quite a nice looking shot because of the little boulders are all nice and shiny. And the polarizer's on the front. I'm going to tilt the polarizer around a bit and see if it makes a difference. And it does, it puts a bit of glare in certain certain areas. So what I'm going to try and do, or what I'm going to do, I'm going to take two sets. I'm going to take one with the polarizer on, eliminating the glare on the left hand side, and I'll take the one with the polarizer off, so it's actually showing the glare on the other side. And I'll see if I can actually show you that on video. Let's just take the, I've got no filters on the front of it now. Let's just flicker over onto video for you, and see if I can put this up on the screen and show you what it is we're doing. Right, so let's just hit the button, and excuse the image on the video, it might be a little bit brighter. Right, so what I've got here, you see this reflection just here. By turning the polarizer around, I start to eliminate that reflection, and it works more on the photo than it does on the video. You can see the difference as I spin the polarizer, what it's actually doing. So I'm going to take one with it like this, and I'm going to take one with it like that. And that's the idea behind putting the polarizer on and trying to get those different shots. Yeah, I think that's quite a nice little image. I like the little rocks and I like the boulders, and I've just lifted the camera up high enough to get a little bit of separation between them with the pebbles. So yeah, shame there's no water around it, but I still think quite a nice little shot for the beach. I'm going to probably take one more. I've seen a rock pool behind me, so I'll show you. Let me show you what I've seen. I've seen this little puddle of water there, and I quite like the idea of just having the little puddle of water with the stones in it, so I'm going to try and set up for that. Might have to put the wide angle lens on, and then that's going to be the last one. Right, so we're nice and low now. We've got down really, really low. The camera's virtually, or the tripod's virtually sitting on the shingle, on the shale. We've got the rock pool in front of me. It's only a tiny little puddle. It's only sort of yay big, but it's got some nice little stones in it, nice little pebbles in it, with nice little colours. The polarizer again, I'm going to flick it over onto video for you and just show you what we're going to do. The polarizer is making a lot of difference on this one. You can see that with the polarizer off, you can get all that sheen on the water and you can't see the pebbles. By turning the polarizer on, it goes straight through that glare, and you can see all them pebbles in the bottom of the image. So that makes a lot of difference on this one. Let's just turn the video back off. Right, let's go back to this image. I'm going to focus on them pebbles, because that's the important part. Bracket in the shot, F11. Polarizer is definitely on full, like it is. And I'm just going to hit the button and let it do what it wants to do at ISO 160. And that's going to be my final image, I think. One shot, as simple as that. Just going to focus on the foreground and leave the background to run off. I'll tell you what, no, I'm going to lie. I'm going to just focus further back, just to make sure. Let's go back there. Just to make sure the background is in focus. But F11, I'm pretty sure I'll only use the one photograph. There we go, job's done. So that's it, I think that's the final image. So I'm going to grab me coffee, go and see what the wife's going to do, and I'll check out and say goodbye in a moment. As you can see now, the sun's just come over the top there and totally blinding me. Been a pretty good morning, it's been really nice, but Denise has just said we've got to go, we've got to go. It's almost a sun star there, look at that, we can get a sun star. Do you reckon we should get the camera and get one more shot? Nah, I'll put it away now. The sky's too, it's gone too much to get a sun star really, it's too bright.
Island David.
Oh yeah, it looks like it, yeah, definitely. Looks like we've just seen a familiar face up on the hills. Ryland.
I think it's Ryland.
Yeah, it looks like Ryland. He's waving. So yeah, it's another familiar face. You can't go anywhere, can you, these days? Just so happens that Pete, he said he's seen the videos before in the past. How was your 8-minute exposure, dear?
Spot on.
Spot on. So if it's that good, I'm going to show it right now. And if it's not that good, you've just seen a rubbish shot. Is it good?
You know me.
She's showing off again. 8-minute exposure. I'll have a look when I get back. It'll probably be out of focus. Yeah, we're all done there now. We're going to make another move. We're going to go and get a coffee, going to have something to eat, and find another location. So yeah, I'm going to say thanks for watching. It's been an adventure this morning. It's been quite nice. I've been told by my subscribers to stop spinning the camera around, and I can't help it. Yeah, it's a nice morning, beautiful and calm after the crazy weather we've had. Nice meeting up with some more, some old friends, and nice getting out and listening to the sea. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and yeah, see more from me from South Wales. So yeah, till next time, ciao for now. See you soon.